I think we have to accept that the people of Scotland have had their say. It was a very democratic exercise, probably one of the most democratic projects that we've seen in recent times on these islands. It was an intense, inclusive, exhilarating campaign. The turnout was magnificent, with so many people engaged. At a personal level, of course, I'm not a unionist, but we stayed out of the campaign quite rightly because we believe in self-determination, and the people have spoken and we accept that. And I think all of us now have a need to focus on getting the Westminster elites, the British Prime Minister, the leaders of the other two main parties, to honour the commitments they gave, which Mr Cameron repeated this morning, not least about the North, where he said there needed to be extra powers given to the executive in the North, and we very much welcome that. But you know, London is notorious for making and breaking commitments, and we will try and keep them to account for that and look to our government to do the same thing.
One unionist said this morning there would have been constitutional turmoil if it had been a yes vote. What do you think?
Well, I think that's the type of sentiment which probably saw a victory of fear over hope. You know, all of the people who voted yes voted with a hope in the future. Those who voted no, I think a section of them certainly were frightened by the tsunami of pressure from London. But let's be sure about this: the union's no longer fixed, it's no longer static, because the commitments made by the no camp and by the government and the other parties is that they're going to bring extra powers, they're going to make changes, not just in relation to Scotland to the north, but also in relation to England and Wales, and that's a good thing.
Now, in terms of Northern Ireland, can you spell out what you would be looking for?
We want maximum powers devolved. We want to have the ability to gather up taxes. There's some talk just earlier this morning about corporation tax, and that we would end up in competition with the states. Sinn Féin wants to see harmony across both states on the island. Another interesting feature of the Scottish referendum debate was that people resented welfare cuts being imposed on them by London. Well, same in the north. Nobody in the north voted for welfare cuts, and that's another issue, I think, which is going to be a focus of discussion in the upcoming period. And we're waiting. Myself and Mary Lou, Martin McGuinness and Michelle Gilden, you met the British Prime Minister in the Taoiseach just before the summer break, and we understand that any other meetings have to wait until the Scottish referendum was concluded. So when the aftermath of this is over, we'll be in with Mr Cameron and with our Taoiseach to make sure that they focus on the Good Friday Agreement and these new developments.